Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the On-Demand series. In this video we want to talk about Windows Subsystem for Linux, WSL, and I want to show you how you can use it to build and compile programs on Linux while you are in Windows. Let's go for it. Okay, WSL. We already discussed building and installing and configuring scientific computing libraries in the set up your environment series. Please check it out if you haven't done that yet. But generally, I face a question from a couple of people that, okay, these are for Linux, but what about for Windows? If we are running Windows, then we cannot use these programs, or are we able to use these programs on Windows or not? The answer is yes, definitely yes, because lots of these programs, especially the bigger ones like Salome or Gmsh, PowerView, they're ported to Windows. So you can directly download the Windows binary from their website and immediately run them. But also for compiling programs, like we compile Seagull programs, MMG, and this kind of stuff, you are still able to run them under Windows. And one of the best solutions, if you want to apply the knowledge that we gain or the knowledge that you have already from this kind of compilation inside Linux to Windows, you can use Windows Subsystem for Linux. And as the name suggests and implies, that's a subsystem that has been developed, I think, by a couple of years ago by Microsoft for Windows 10, and it's released. And lots of people started to use it, and I also use it several times. I also use it for on systems that I don't have Linux or I'm not allowed to install Linux, and it allows you to have your own instance of Linux while it is running on top of the Windows kernel. So using the principles that I showed you in that series, you can build programs with exactly the same procedures, because that's literally on Linux. In this video, I want to show you how you can install it, and then we install the compilers inside, and I will build this very simple C++ program as a showcase. And then in the next videos, I will try to compile more advanced libraries or programs to show you how you can apply it and how you can use it in action. So in order to install WSL, we need to install a Windows feature, and then on top of that feature, we need to install our distribution. This is how WSL works, and there are two major versions of WSL, WSL 1 and WSL 2, and it doesn't matter which version you use, they are more or less the same with minor differences and improvements on version 2. So for this video, because I didn't have a Windows installation available, I installed Windows on a virtual machine. You don't need to do this, because this video, if you're on this video and you find this video useful, it's because you have Windows installed and you want to compile programs or install Linux programs on Windows. But in this case, I have installed Windows inside a virtual machine on Oracle VirtualBox. And we already discussed how you can do this in the first video of the Setup Your System series. It's quite simple. You create a new virtual machine, you configure it, and then you load the ISO disk. And in this case, the ISO can be freely downloaded, from Microsoft website for free, because we don't want to activate the Windows. We don't want to use it really. We want just as a demonstration, and as just a showcase. In order to install WSL, after loading, before loading anything, we need to go to this panel, to this control panel widget that allows us to turn on or off Windows features. So I search for feature on the start menu, and then I open this window. So these are the features that are not installed. Some are installed, and these are optional features of Windows actually. And as you can see here, we have Windows Subsystem for Linux, and it says it provides services and environments for running native user mode Linux shells and programs. So I check it. And then I press OK. And then it starts to download the files, the required files, and applying changes, and it says that the system should be restarted. So I restart the system. This is just restarting the virtual machine. So as you can see, it starts to sort of updating Windows features. And yeah, this is the restart of the system. So I can also minimize this one. Still working. To fully configure it, it's quite fast. And then log in again to the system. And now it's the time to install our desired or the distribution that we like. So let's install Ubuntu, because we already discussed Ubuntu a lot in the set up your scientific computing environment. Let me check. Yeah, now it is fully responsive. Yeah, we need to install it via Microsoft Store. So I open Microsoft Store here, or you can search Store on the Start menu if you don't have it on the taskbar. And then here we need to search for the program, because it's Ubuntu. Let's see what we have here. There are different versions of Ubuntu, or you can even search for any other Linux distribution that you need or you want. And if it is not available via Microsoft Store, there are still people sharing different distributions on the internet for WSL. So you can search for WSL some distribution, and you can easily find it. So Ubuntu 18, this is the version that is more comfortable for us, although this is not very new. And then I click Get, and it says please sign in. Of course, we don't want to sign in, and it says install. You own this app, and then it tries to download and install it. And while it's downloading, yeah, we need to wait a bit. And after it gets installed, it provides us with a terminal to the Linux bash, to the Linux shell, and then we can do whatever we want. Of course, there is one extra step that we need to take, and that's for configuring WSL to run smoothly on Windows, because there are sometimes some problems, especially with metadata and file transfer stuff. But yeah, I will show you how to do that. Okay, I close this, and now we have, as you can see here, we have an item here, Ubuntu 18.04, and then it tries to configure it, and that's it. I think it asks us for a couple of probably username and credentials and this kind of stuff. Let me try to increase the font size if it is too small for you. I'm sorry for that. I'm not sure if I can, because probably it doesn't allow me to do that, because it says that Windows is not activated. But here probably I can increase the font size a bit. Yeah, probably this is easier for you to see, I hope. So for the username, I say it is TalksWriters, and then for the password, I say 1. It doesn't matter really, and it says that it's updated. So now I think we have also sudo access immediately. Yeah, we have sudo access, so we can say sudo apt update to update the list of the repositories into the password, and it tries to download the repositories from the universal URL, and then after that, immediately after that, we can install whatever we want. But the extra step that I told you, I have written it here, that we need to edit this file, and then we should add this, and then this makes life much easier on Windows, because then you can immediately open WSL from any directory that you want, and you never encounter any permission issue or file association, this kind of stuff that sometimes there will be some conflicts between Windows and Linux. But generally this is what this is all about. And now we have a full Linux a full Linux installation on top of Windows. So let me create this file first because this is quite essential. I think we have nano installed, otherwise we need to install it. Let me make sure the nano is installed. Yeah, we have nano. So we say sudo nano. No, you can check out the introductory video that we had on Linux commands and Linux files, Linux file structures and bash commands, and this kind of stuff. The video is already available on TuxWriters. So in Windows, if you want to paste something in a terminal, you need to right click on the terminal and you paste it. So we want to, oops, it is sudo, sorry. sudo, we create this file, and then as the content of the file, I insert this. Of course, the first line is the comment, so I insert this one again with right click, Control X. It asks us for saving these changes. I press yes, and then it asks for the name, and I approve it. I just confirm it that yeah, that's the file name that I want. And that's it. Then I close it, and then whenever you like, even on the Windows, on the desktop, you know, this is the easiest way if you want to navigate around the system. You press Shift key and then right click, and then immediately you can see that you have open Linux shell here, and then you are inside that directory. And by using this technique, you can have a nice interaction between the desktop system and Windows system that you have and the Linux system. Okay, that's quite cool. Let's install the compilers, because at this moment we don't have the compilers. If I press G++, it says that G++ is not installed, or GCC, whatever. And if we want to install them, you know from the previous videos that it is as simple as installing them using this apd install command. And for installing the compilers, we can install this the mega package called Build Essentials, and it comes with it with all the libraries that we need to install and to build simple programs, including GCC toolchain and also a couple of essential libraries. So for the Build Essentials, and then it says that yeah, this is, you can see the name of the files of the libraries that needed to be installed, and you see that we are inside Windows. We are on Windows, but we are using the techniques that we learned or we know for Linux, and that's it. We can just run whatever we like on Linux while we are on Windows, and while the files are hosted in Windows, are in the Windows structure, and using the technique that I told you, using Shift and right click, or another technique is in any directory. In order to open WSL, you can open the file menu here, and you open the Windows PowerShell, and inside the PowerShell, because PowerShell runs in the directory, it takes a bit long because this is the first time that I'm running PowerShell. You see that it runs on the directory that I opened it, and then here you can press bash and you are immediately inside Linux. So using these two techniques, you can immediately run Linux shell, wherever you like. Like in this case, you see that we are here, and when we can run the Linux commands. So using these two techniques, we can easily run programs. So for example, access files and run programs. So for this case, it doesn't care about the empty spaces, the white spaces, but generally it's a very good practice if we ignore the spaces in the file name. Sometimes with some build systems it causes some problems. So in this case, I go to the test directory. Maybe here I can create a very simple program called test.cpp. We want to see the Windows, the extensions. So file name extensions, we want to see them because I want to change it to CPP at this moment. And then I say that I want to maybe create a very simple C++ program very fast. So this is this one. What happened? Oh, it crashes because that's actually a very CPU intensive operation while recording the video and running the virtual machine. Yeah, so I just want to say hi while it's trying to capture it. Sorry that there are some delays here, and then we return 0. And yeah, this is a very, very simple C++ program. And you see, I want to show you that I'm editing the program inside Linux, inside Windows, and then I want to compile it using Linux. So here I open the Linux shell. So as you saw, I hold the Shift key and right click, and then the Windows and then a Linux shell here. And after installing the Build Essential, now I have access to this G++ compilers. So I press enter, and then you can see that now I have out, the famous out program. So this is actually the Windows, the Linux executable file. And then here I can call out, and you see that I have the output here. I think this is quite cool, very, very useful subsystem. This is Windows Subsystem for Linux WSL. This is very, very useful for users, for Linux users who are forced to work under Windows, or the users like this, people who want to do scientific computing and they are using Windows. This can be pretty easy, and you can, as you can see, you have a full functional Ubuntu installation here. While it is not a real virtual machine, so it is quite fast and it runs almost natively, especially on the WSL2. But yeah, you can apply all your knowledge to it, and you can enjoy using this as a Linux subsystem while you are in Windows. I hope you find this video useful. In the next video, I try to use this program, WSL, to build more advanced programs like Seagal or any other libraries. So yeah, stay tuned, and see you later.